Hello, magical souls. As promised in the last video, Wavespell of the Red Dragon, during this Tolkien spin we'll be going together through the progression of wave spells. If you're new to this, I recommend you to watch the videos, the structure of the Tolkien and the structure of wave spells so that you can make sense of what we're talking about. Yesterday was the last day within the Red Dragon wave spell, the first wave spell within the Tolkien, and today, being the magnetic tone, that means that we have entered the second wave spell of the White Wizard. You'll notice that the progression of colors through the wave spells follows the classical progression, red, white, blue, and yellow. To understand more about the meaning of these colors, you can check out the video, The Four Clans. So, the White Wizard wave spell looks like this, beginning with the White Magnetic Wizard, going through the solar seals until it ends with the White Cosmic Wellbridger. And White Wizard is a challenge of the Yellow Electric Seed year that we are currently in. Make sure to also check out the videos 26th of July 2021, New Year of the Yellow Electric Seed and Year of the Yellow Electric Seed. Being the challenge of this year, this wave spell might be a little bit of a bumpy ride for some of us. So what is the White Wizard all about? His main name is Lak'Ech. He is the shaman who has mastered the underworlds, representing our unconscious mind. After going through the Red Dragon wave spell, which is the initiation into understanding our unconscious mind and what we're really asking from the universe, it makes sense that the next wave spell is led by the White Wizard. His totem animal is the jaguar, a sacred animal for the Mayans that was seen as the guide to the shamanic wisdom. He invites us to navigate through all of our shadows, unconscious patterns, fears, and ignorances until we discover the totality of our being. Being the shaman, he takes us through a purging process, just like in sacred plant medicine ceremonies. And if you've ever been in such a ceremony, you know how painful it can be to sit with the pain, with the nausea, with the discomforts. But it's a necessary part of the process, just like in a detox where the symptoms tend to get worse before they get better. At first, I perceived this energy as very magical, the wizard being the magician, the one who can create magic everywhere around him from the wisdom and the purity of his heart. But to reach that point, we need to face those unconscious aspects within us that are keeping us from being attuned to the voice of our soul, because as I've been mentioning, the heart is the place from which our soul is trying to communicate with us. And once we open the heart, it becomes a portal through which our soul manifests itself in this reality. So after moving through the wave spell of the Red Dragon and identifying the unconscious patterns within us, the wizard invites us to go through a symbolic death where the ego has to die in front of the divine will of the heart so that life can once again become a magical and enchanting experience. The wizard is conscious of the power that our thoughts, beliefs, and desires have when it comes to shaping and creating our reality. This is why on the glyph of the solar seal, we see a smiling face with closed eyes and an open third eye. He knows that the truth lies within. He has found his inner peace and stillness, and through his awareness, he can create the magical reality that he dreams of. And the only way that we can truly find peace and stillness is by journeying within our unconscious. So if the Red Dragon hasn't revealed all of your inner distortions, the White Wizard steps in to refine the process. And he also incarnates the power of integrity towards our heart and soul, staying true to our inner truth and inner guidance no matter what. In one of the shadow aspects of the White Wizard, what happens is that he sells his soul to receive acknowledgement, power, understanding, acceptance, and love. I call this soul prostitution. So in the shadow, the wizard becomes the dark sorcerer, the one who uses his gifts and powers in order to manipulate and get what he wants from the world. This happens out of fear of being rejected by society that sees the qualities of the rational mind as supreme. From a young age, we are taught how to cultivate our rational mind, but nobody ever talks about listening to our heart or our intuition or our instincts. So when somebody shows up that is moving against this current and is simply following the voice of the heart, it's natural that he's going to be seen as an outcast that nobody really understands or accepts. So out of the desire to be a part of this world, the wizard feels that the only way he can do that is by selling his soul and rejecting the voice of the heart. He will start using his powers in order to fulfill the ego's need for recognition and belonging. However, this only makes him lose connection with his inner nature and his inner wisdom. So the wizard invites us to step into self-empowerment and to follow our inner guidance, no matter how absurd it might seem for others. But there's also a catch here. Because most of us are traumatized human beings, our internal guidance system can get a little bit messed up. This is why when we're feeling as if we're unworthy, we keep attracting situations and people who make us feel that way. Our heart can, let's say, guide us to be in a relationship with all of the wrong people who end up hurting us, kind of like reinforcing the idea that we are not worthy. But in the bigger picture, our heart is actually guiding us back to wholeness. It's guiding us towards people and situations that are meant to help us release our traumas. As I mentioned earlier with the whole detox thing, the symptoms tend to get worse before we can get better. It's the same with following the voice of the heart. If we've been trapped in the distortions of the mind, before our life can once again become magical and filled with rainbows and butterflies, the heart will guide us towards those uncomfortable growth situations. All our heart wants is for us to be whole and to reach our highest potential, but to reach that point, we need to go through very uncomfortable situations that ask us to release our unconscious patterns. So, even if in the beginning it might seem as if our heart is guiding us towards all of the wrong people, it's actually putting us in situations which are meant to help us grow and evolve. For me, most of my life, my heart has been guiding me to all of the wrong types of partners. And with each relationship, all of my patterns of feeling unworthy, unlovable, and just not enough would only get worse. Until it got so bad that I ended up in a situation so horrible and demeaning that it made me realize that, wow, I really don't love myself if I've allowed myself to be treated in this way, if I've allowed myself to be in such a situation. And that was the day that I swore to myself that from now on, I'm going to put myself first and I'm going to learn how to love myself unconditionally before I can learn to love someone else. This was all happening during the White Wizard Wavespell, by the way. So in the end, my heart guided me towards a guy that ended up breaking my heart in millions of pieces so that unconditional self-love can drip through its cracks and invade my whole being. Again, because of the structures in our society, most people's lives are ruled by the mind. During White Wizard Wavespells, and especially during the White Magnetic Wizard year, I experienced a deep inner struggle because of the opposition between what the mind and the heart want, where it seemed as if the mind and the heart were fighting each other. When this happens, it feels as if you're going crazy, as if there are two beings within you constantly contradicting each other and wanting the opposite of what the other one wants. One says no, the other one says yes, and the wizard invites us to explore the resistances of our mind towards the voice of the heart. The mind isn't meant to run the show, although this is what happens for most people. The mind is meant to be in service of the heart, not to work against it. The mind is basically here to protect us, to store past events in order to know how to act in the future. And because the voice of our heart can guide us to face our shadows in order to grow and let go of our resistances towards life, the mind, wanting to avoid all of those unpleasant experiences, is going to remember those experiences and will do everything it can to keep us from repeating our mistakes, when in fact there are no mistakes, only lessons learned. For example, with all of my traumatic romantic experiences in mind, when during the White Magnetic Wizard year I found a romantic interest that sparked something inside me after almost 2 years of being by myself, my mind was terrified. My heart was saying yes to wanting to be with this person, and my mind was, nope, not again. I don't trust you. You're going to end up in the exact situation as always, and I won't let you. So for almost 4 months, I was a total mess, exhausted by the constant inner fighting happening between the heart and the mind. Long story short, that person is now my boyfriend, an amazing, gentle, and caring person that constantly makes me feel worthy, loved, accepted, and understood. But because of this deep fear of not getting hurt again, I was having a really hard time differentiating between the mind and the heart. One day I was in the mind, the other day I was in the heart. One day I was saying no, the other day I was saying yes. I was literally bipolar. And after months of this, I was able to navigate it by bringing myself into a meditative state and focusing on the breath to quiet down the mind and relax the body. And I would say a statement and feel where it would resonate within my body. I don't want to be with this person felt like an uncomfortable knot in my stomach, like my gut saying, don't listen to the mind. And I want to be with this person felt like an expansion and an opening of the heart saying, yes, go for it. I'm sharing all of this with you to help you understand why and how the mind can start working against us, not to sabotage us, but out of love and the desire to keep us safe. But as I've been saying in a bunch of videos, being safe isn't always a good thing if that means we stop taking the risks life is asking us to take. Growth itself is a risk. We don't know how things are going to turn out. But if we trust that our heart is always guiding us where we need to be in order to become the best version of ourselves, that's when the magic happens. So during these 13 days of the White Wizard Wavespell, take the time to examine the walls around your heart and your resistances that are keeping you from tapping into its wisdom. What are the fears and inner distortions that build those walls? Are you true to your heart, or are you afraid to follow its guidance so that you don't get hurt? Are you in your integrity, or are you selling your soul for outside recognition? Are you making decisions out of love from the heart or out of fear from the mind? Are you thinking your next step, or are you feeling it through your heart and your body? If you have any questions about the Dreamspell calendar, or if you want to understand yourself a little deeper through a galactic signature decoding session where we explore the archetypes within your kin, you can send me a message either on my Facebook page or on my email. Wishing you a magical wave spell, and I will see you on the Blue Magnetic Hand. In Lak'Ech.